So, 2 days ago, I want to say it was, I made a post, just like a community post, I guess it was on my YouTube, about Destiny, criticizing his comments on violence and how uncivilized and senseless it is. And I had some people question the context of what that clip was about. And I didn't know if I was actually going to make a video on this, but enough has transpired after the fact that it's worthy of making a comment. So with that, sorry, I'm looking at my cat doing some weird things, but with that being said, now I'll just explain to you what happened because more has developed since then. So the post that I'm talking about would have been in reference to Destiny, where I said that Destiny spoke out a few days ago about the situation between Housephone and Adam 22, where Housephone gets up and threatens to fight Adam 22 and ends up throwing juice at him. And basically, Destiny was saying that that's so uncivilized. Who cares what somebody says about anything? Even your mom, your dead mom, wouldn't care. You know, speaking about somebody who he's never met Housephone before. So this was him talking about a stranger, commenting on a public figure, a public media figure. So I'm not going to sit here and make it seem like he was just talking about some rando. And I'm really not even going to make it seem like just because somebody is talking about somebody random that they don't have a right. Like, I don't care. I don't care about those kind of things. But I am the type of person that feels that you should be able to, or you should be ready to take whatever comes with whatever you do in life as a man, whether it just be commentary, actions, your job, your beliefs, or whatever. You have to be willing to take what comes with it, right or wrong. Like, I'm not saying that people should be accosted and have violent things happen to them because of their beliefs, but it's a possibility. And you have to be willing to take that if you're going to believe in anything. So I walk through life doing and saying the things that I do, knowing that it could rub somebody the wrong way one time and I may have to deal with that. Perfectly fine. So Destiny says, you know, all of this about how uncivilized it is to combat words with violence. And I basically said that that's easy for you to say when you don't have a choice. You see, there are people who are strong and smart enough to articulate themselves, and they can say what they think and feel because they're willing to deal with what comes with that. I would like to consider myself one of those people. I'm not saying that I'm the toughest person on the planet. I'm just saying that when I speak, I'm not sitting here. I'm cognizant of what I do, but I'm not like, ooh, I better not say that or else I might get in trouble or something. There are things that I will not, like I wouldn't talk about I can't say that I would never talk about somebody's dead family member, but traditionally you would have to do something pretty annoying to me to make me go that far. Because I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I'm a nice guy when I'm insulting somebody. When I'm insulting, I go for the low blows. I can't. That's why I said I'm willing to deal with what comes with that. So people like Destiny who think that words are just a category on their own that don't escalate to violence, I can play those games because I can make people pretty upset with just my words alone. And I can also have a rational conversation. And I can also have a rational conversation when I am made upset. So I get that. But I have the option. Destiny does not. Destiny uses discourse to solve his issues because he couldn't use physical violence. If he tried to use physical violence, he would more than likely be destroyed, pummeled. You understand? So it's cute for him to try and rhetorically trick us with reverse psychology, telling us that, oh, that's not the way. Let me tell you something. Through the history of the world, the most savage people have been of a certain caliber, right? Like, I understand you're talking about savagery, but the only reason that savagery was overwhelmed by civilization was through superior firepower, meaning that the civilized people killed more of the savages than the savages were able to kill the civilized people. What does that mean to you? You could say, oh, well, they had no choice back then. It was war. Yes. What has changed? What is different? Are we falsely pretending like we're brothers in camaraderie working towards the same goal together? Or are we just micro savages with one-man tribes? So we're all alone and pitted against one another. Now, I'm not saying that that's the full mentality of how you should view the world, but essentially when you're boiling it down to war and tribes and politics and things like that, it is. Everybody is their own sovereign tribe or nation now within the confines of course, United States law, like countries and things like that. But as far as the mentality of how you used to move, how you used to allocate your resources, who you communicated and networked with, that was all based off of who your tribe was, right? Well, how do we do it now? It's all based off of who we feel is in our circle. And it's not always the same circle. Everybody has their own circulation of people around them, and it kind of works like Venn diagrams where some of it overlaps and some of it doesn't. So I'm just saying all this stuff at the front end of this video to let you know that it's not only unintelligent, base nature people who think that violence is appropriate in some circumstances. So you can sit there and play that game that only stupid people use their hands. No, only capable people use their hands. Only capable people. Let's keep that in mind, all right? When we look at these little weak people on the internet who think that talking into a camera is the highest form of intellectual debate. I bet you wouldn't even do that face to face with these people if you felt a tinge of there possibly being a threat of violence. So you have to understand that when people in these more savage communities, as you describe them, speak their mind, they're speaking their mind fully, knowing that that could come with it. Would you ever do that? Would you ever speak your mind if you knew that physical violence was right around the corner? Oh, no, because the world is so uncivilized. Maybe you're just weak. Did you ever think about that? So that's the first half of this video. The second half of this video is really why I'm bringing all of this up. I just wanted to get that commentary out of the way. But actually, the reason I'm making this video is because Potlord of No Jumper has been fired for a second time in the past 3 months, I want to say, based off of his conversation with Destiny, the guy who I was just talking about, over him talking down on Housephones' mother. So Potlord, or Toke, is he was a personality on No Jumper until he was removed there 2 times. But he's basically a very close friend to Housephone, who is another host on No Jumper's different shows that they have, or at least was until the falling out that he's had with Adam 22. So because of the falling out that he had with Adam 22 in the situation that made Destiny speak about Housephone's mother, Potlord chimed in and basically told him what he thought about him and what they're not going for coming out of this man's mouth. To which, he snarkily replied from his little RGB lit up computer gamer chair room, "Hey, you da-da-das are worthless monkeys, blah, blah, blah." He didn't actually say these things, but no. I'm not going to sit here and call Destiny racist because I think that people who deal with race realism with adults and understand the stereotypes and differences, there is a benefit to that once we get past this sensitivity in culture, because we will grow and develop from those kind of conversations. But Destiny uses that as a veiled, I won't say insult, but he says those kind of things to make himself feel better about who he is, right? A lot of those people on the conservative side do. And trust me, I watch you guys all day, every day. I see what you do and I see how you operate and I see how you act and how you talk. So I know this for a fact. They oftentimes do this. That's the 1350 rule. It's real and it should stop. And there are real conversations that have to be had in the Black community about that. But the people who bring up the 1350 rule don't fully understand the factors that contribute to that. And that is not an excuse to say, oh, they didn't do anything wrong or it's not their fault because of systemic racism. No. But we're not ready to have that conversation because y'all think that that's what it's about. And that's cool. That's for another day. So Potlord insults Destiny and says what he'll do to him when he's going to squish him like a little berry, like a little blue-haired berry. And Adam 22 didn't like that because Destiny was defending Adam 22. And that's something that I really want to point out here. Pay very close attention to what happens at No Jumper in the next coming weeks. And And I say that I unsubscribe from No Jumper. I watch everything that I can in clips that are online. Copyright strike away all you want to. I will always find a pirated copy of your content, of the most dramatic things that happen on your show, so that I can react to them without giving you a single view. And I'm not trying to say that my view is the view that got you the $1 million, but every less view makes me feel a little bit happier. Schadenfreude. But I say all this to say that Adam 22 is definitely wearing his emotions a little bit more on his. He's being a little bit more sloppy with his media training. The whole situation where he's like, "Oh, it's my show with T-Rail and AD and Lush and all them," which I watched pirated. I did not watch that on No Jumper. But that clip mixed with this new Potlord situation, mixed with the way that he handled the Housephones situation, is showing that I think he understands that a lot of the people aren't on his side. He's kind of like, he's cutting his ties with those who don't have loyalty directly to him and trying to revamp the show so that it's more focused on content that he actually has control over. I've noticed that ever since the new phase of the No Jumper content, when he did try bringing in people like Poetic Flacco, people like Lush, people like Almighty to kind of get a refreshed casting there with new contracts, I'm sure, new obligations, new rules and regulations. And that didn't work out because the old cast are going out with a bang. You can feel when somebody is silently restructuring your position from under you, if you've ever been in that kind of a situation before, which I haven't ever been with a media company, but I have in the corporate world, and it's very noticeable. You will notice when a boss is not directly firing you, but it's kind of hinting at the fact that if you were to go, it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. And that is what is happening at No Jumper right now. But one thing that I think that Adam doesn't understand, or maybe he does understand this and he just knows that it's too late, is that most of the fans don't come to see him. We come to see AD. We came to see Housephone. Housephone was the number one person who I would enjoy watching. I watched every Disconnected up until the situation fell out where they originally had him leave because of his, lack of showing up in the Blasey thing. All that left a bad taste in my mouth, so I stopped watching that because it just exuded fake relationships from that point on. And this is no different. I could talk about this situation forever because I was an actual No Jumper fan for a very long time. And that doesn't mean that Adam 22 is beholden to his older original fans, things like that. Media shows very often take on a different form later on in their life than they were programmed to be at the beginning. It's totally fine. Is this the end of No Jumper? As we know it, yes, this has been the end of No Jumper as we know it. What's going to come next? Who knows? Maybe it will be more entertaining. Maybe it will be less entertaining. I know that when the Joe Budden podcast made the switches that it did, I never watched another episode. Ice and Ish and all those guys are no replacement for Mal and Rory. I don't really watch the Mal and Rory podcast too much either because that's a different dynamic. The situation that the three of them had in the golden era was exactly that. But do I think that should last forever or would last forever? No, it's only logical to assume that it wouldn't. So enjoy these kind of things while they last. Understand that these are all just internet people at the end of the day. They don't have any obligation to continue to please you. You don't have any obligation to continue to serve or support them. And that's the way the world works, man. Free market.